You know what's wild? Japan is one of the most expensive countries on Earth. Tokyo consistently ranks among the priciest cities in the world, and yet Japanese people report some of the lowest levels of financial stress of any developed nation. No panic, no dread, no lying awake at 2 a.m. doing math in their heads, just quiet, calm financial stability built over decades. Meanwhile, in the US, 77% of Americans report feeling anxious about their financial situation regularly. Not occasionally, regularly. People earning six figures living paycheck to paycheck. People with decent jobs, decent salaries, and nothing to show for it at the end of the month. Stressed, stretched, and confused about why. Here's the difference. It's not income. Japan's median household income is actually lower than America's. It's not luck, it's not government handouts, it's philosophy. Japanese people have a completely different relationship with money at a foundational level, and that relationship gets passed down from grandmothers to mothers to daughters across generations, like a quiet inheritance nobody talks about. This video is about that philosophy. 7 reasons why Japanese people don't stress about money and exactly how you can copy every single one of them starting today. No luck required, no dramatic life overhaul, just a different way of thinking about money that changes everything underneath. Let's get into it. Number 1, they make their money visible. Most Americans have no idea where their money goes. Seriously. Ask someone what they spent last month and you'll get a rough guess, maybe a shrug, maybe genuine panic. The money just disappears. Subscriptions they forgot about, takeout that adds up to more than their grocery bill, impulse purchases that felt small in the moment and enormous on the statement. Japanese households solve this with a system called Kakeibo. It's been around since 1904 and it's almost insultingly simple. A notebook and a pen. Every month, you write down 4 things by hand. How much is coming in, how much goes to fixed expenses, how much you want to save, how much you have left to spend. Then, every day, you write down what you spent and sort each purchase into one of 4 categories: survival needs, optional wants, culture, which covers books, experiences, and growth, and unexpected, which is everything that caught you off guard. At the end of the month, you ask yourself 3 questions. Did I meet my savings goal? What spending brought me genuine value? What would I do differently? That's the entire system, and that's exactly why it works. Here's the thing about budgeting apps. They automate the awareness away. The app does the thinking, so your brain doesn't have to. Kakeibo does the opposite. Writing by hand forces your brain to process every purchase consciously. When you sit down tonight and write DoorDash $42 once, something shifts. You chose that. That was a decision. And once your brain starts seeing your spending as a series of active decisions rather than things that just happen, you cannot unsee it. Studies show people who write down their expenses spend 15 to 20% less automatically. Not because they're restricting themselves, because they're aware. Awareness is the first step. You cannot fix what you cannot see. Here's what you do tonight. Buy a small notebook, nothing fancy. For the next 30 days, write down every single purchase. The coffee, the parking, the random online order at midnight. Categorize it into those 4 buckets. Review it at the end of the month. That's it. Same income, different awareness. Watch what happens. Number 2, they treat waste like a financial crime. Americans waste roughly 30% of the food they buy. That's around $2,000 per household per year thrown directly in the bin. And it doesn't stop at food. Clothes worn once, appliances replaced because a newer model came out, furniture abandoned when moving because it's easier to buy new than to transport it. Japanese culture has a word for the feeling this creates: mottainai. There's no clean English translation, but it roughly means, what a waste, what a shame. It's the emotional discomfort that comes from seeing something useful discarded or undervalued. In Japan, wasting a resource isn't just careless, it's almost morally wrong. Every item has inherent worth. Throwing something away before it's truly finished is disrespecting both the object and the money you traded your time to earn. The math people never do is this. Add up your monthly waste, food you threw away, purchases sitting unused with tags still on, items replaced that could have been repaired. For most people, that number runs into hundreds of dollars every single month. That's not a spending problem, that's a wealth leak. The mottainai approach is simple. Buy quality, use it completely. One good item used 100 times beats 10 cheap items used once. Before throwing anything away, ask whether it can be repaired, repurposed, or passed on. Before buying anything new, ask whether you'll use it completely or whether you're just adding to the pile. Plug the leak. Previous waste becomes future wealth. Number 3. They improve by 1% at a time. Here's where most people get it completely wrong. The plan is always the same. I'm going to completely overhaul my finances starting Monday. Cut everything, save aggressively, new budget, new life. Monday comes, they try to do everything at once, burn out by Wednesday, back to the same habits by Friday. The Japanese have a different approach. It's called Kaizen, continuous small improvement. This is the philosophy that rebuilt Japan's entire economy from rubble after World War II, not with dramatic sweeping change, with tiny improvements made daily, sustained forever. Here's the math that changes everything. If you get 1% better every single day, you are not 1% better at the end of the year, you are 37 times better. Compound improvement works exactly the way compound savings does. Small inputs, sustained over time, producing results wildly disproportionate to the effort. Applied to money, Kaizen looks like this. This month, reduce your dining out spending by 10%, not 50, 10. Next month, cancel one subscription you forgot you had. The month after, automate a small transfer to savings the morning after your paycheck lands. Each change is so small it requires almost no willpower. Each change is so easy your brain doesn't resist it. But 12 months of Kaizen produces a completely different financial life than the one you started with, and you barely felt the transition. Start so small you literally cannot fail. One tiny change, then another, then another. Tiny changes sustained beat massive changes abandoned every single time. Number 4. They know what the money is for. Most people save because they're supposed to, or they spend because something looked appealing. There's no guiding philosophy underneath the behavior, no answer to the most important question that budgets and apps and calculators never ask. What is the money actually for? Japanese culture has a concept called ikigai. It roughly translates to reason for being. It's the thing that gives your daily life structure, direction, and meaning. In Okinawa, one of the places on Earth where people regularly live past 100, they don't even have a word for retirement. You don't retire from your ikigai. You live it until the end. Here's what's interesting about purpose and money. Studies show people with a clear sense of purpose spend significantly less on coping mechanisms. When you hate your work, you spend money to survive it. Retail therapy, expensive weekends to decompress, eating out constantly because cooking feels like one more thing in a day full of things you didn't want to do. The golden handcuffs get tighter. You can't leave because your lifestyle requires the income you earn from the job that's draining you. When you know what your life is actually for, every spending decision becomes a vote for or against that life. A friend of mine defined his ikigai as being fully present for his kids without the background noise of financial stress. Once he had that clarity, impulse purchases didn't just feel expensive, they felt irrelevant. He didn't need willpower to stop buying things he didn't need. He needed purpose. The impulse just stopped making sense. Find your ikigai. When you love your direction, you stop spending money to escape it. Number 5. They find contentment in what they already have. Here's what social media has done to us. We scroll through perfectly curated lives and then look at our own and think, not good enough. So we renovate kitchens that function perfectly. We upgrade cars that run without complaint. We replace furniture that has years of life in it. The consumer economy runs entirely on your dissatisfaction with things that still work. Japanese philosophy offers the direct antidote. It's called wabi sabi, the appreciation of things that are imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. A wooden table with scratches that tell the story of 100 family dinners. A sweater with a small repair that reminds you how long you've loved it. A house that's lived in rather than staged. In traditional Japanese tea ceremonies, a simple, slightly imperfect bowl is considered more valuable than a flawless, ornate one. The imperfection is the character. The where is the history. Applied to your financial life, wabi-sabi is a game changer. That scratch on your phone screen is not a reason for a new phone. That faded paint is not a renovation emergency. That older car with 200,000 miles is a proven, reliable friend. Stop upgrading things that don't need upgrading. The American mindset says imperfection is a reason to replace. Wabi-sabi says imperfection is a reason to appreciate. One bleeds money constantly, the other builds wealth quietly. Comparison is the thief of contentment, and contentment is the foundation of financial stability. What you have is enough. Find the beauty in it. Stop spending there.
Number 6. They save first and spend what's left. Most Americans operate on a sequence that guarantees nothing gets saved. Earn, spend, and hope that something is left over. There's never anything left over because spending expands to fill whatever income is available. This is Parkinson's law applied to money. It's not a discipline problem, it's a structural problem. Japanese households have practiced a different sequence for generations. It's called chokin. Save first, then spend what remains. The moment money arrives, a portion of it leaves immediately into a separate account. Spending happens with whatever is left. The order sounds like a small detail. It's not. It's everything. When saving comes first, your spending naturally contracts to fit the remaining amount. When saving comes last, there's always a reason it didn't happen this month. Here's what this looks like in real numbers. Say you take home $4,000 a month. Under the typical American model, you spend through the month and save whatever is left. In practice, nothing is ever left. Your savings rate hovers near zero. Now imagine the morning after payday, an automatic transfer moves $800, 20%, into a separate savings account before you ever see it. Your spending reality becomes $3,200. You adjust within about 2 months because the human brain adapts remarkably fast when the option to spend simply doesn't exist. The people saving the most aren't more disciplined, they're more automated. They've built the structure so the right thing happens without requiring willpower every single month. Set up the transfer, save first, spend second. That's chokin. That's the habit.
Number 7. They accept what they can't control and focus entirely on what they can. Here's the most expensive habit in America: stressing about things you cannot change. Where you started financially, past mistakes, other people's advantages, the economy, inflation, what someone else earns or owns or inherited. We carry this weight constantly, and here's what we do with that stress. We spend money trying to feel better. Retail therapy, stress purchases, keeping up with people who genuinely don't care whether we keep up or not. It's exhausting, and it costs a fortune. Japanese culture has a concept for this: shogunai. It means it cannot be helped. And before that sounds like giving up, hear me out. It's the opposite of giving up. It's the most strategic thing you can do with your energy. You cannot control where you started. Shogunai. You cannot control past mistakes. Shogunai. You cannot control other people's advantages, their inheritance, their head start, the economy, inflation. Shogunai. Release it. Stop spending energy there. Here's what you can control: today's spending, today's saving, whether you write in your Kakeibo notebook tonight, whether you wait 30 days before that purchase, whether you automate your savings transfer this week. That's where your power actually lives. That's the only place wealth gets built. Make 2 lists. First list: everything you cannot control about your financial situation. Write it all down. Then say shogunai and let every single item go. Second list: everything you can control today. Pour everything into that list. A woman I know spent years comparing herself to people she grew up with, feeling behind, spending money on things she didn't need just to feel like she was keeping pace. $600 a month on stress purchases. She started practicing shogunai, stopped comparing, stopped spending energy on what she couldn't change, redirected that $600 into savings every month. Year 1, $7,000 saved. Year 3, $25,000 in the bank. Same income, different focus. Comparison is expensive. Peace with your own path is free. Choose shogunai. Build wealth quietly. Here's everything in one breath. 7 reasons Japanese people don't stress about money. Kakeibo makes every dollar visible. Mottainai eliminates the wealth leak of waste. Kaizen compounds tiny improvements until they're undeniable. Ikigai removes the spending you were doing just to cope. Wabi-sabi replaces dissatisfaction with contentment. Chokin means saving is never optional, it's structural. And shogunai focuses every drop of your energy on the only place it can actually do something. You don't need a higher salary to start. You don't need a dramatic life overhaul. Pick one habit from this list, just one. Start tonight. Kakeibo, buy a notebook. Mottainai, audit your fridge before your next grocery run. Chokin, set up one automatic transfer for next payday. Start so small it feels almost pointless. That's exactly the right size. The quiet financial stability Japanese culture has built over generations didn't come from earning more, it came from thinking differently. That thinking is available to you right now, today, regardless of what's in your account. If this shifted something for you, subscribe and drop in the comments which habit you're starting first. And if you want to go deeper on any one of these, tell me which one and I'll make the full breakdown. The only difference between financial stress and financial peace is the operating system running underneath. Time to upgrade yours.